Hey guys, welcome back for another video, and as some of you may know, I own a brand new 2022 Model Y. And there are tons of aftermarket solutions for the Model Y. This week I'm going to talk about one very specific model that was sent to me by a company called VERKOKAPPA. It's a very tiny heads-up display that goes into the panel right in front of your. And just to give you guys some context, I am not a technical person or hands-on person at all, but this tiny heads-up display is very easy to install, and today I'm gonna walk you guys through the entire setup from beginning to end. Now let's look at the product itself. It is an extremely small heads-up display. It's compatible with Model Y and 3, and it's called the X1 model. And this box contains everything you need to get the job done. So this, you needed to take off the panels, and this is the wiring, and this is what goes on your on the dash. As you can see, it's extremely sleek and fits right into the panel. So now I'm just going to walk you guys through on how to install this. Okay, so the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that panel first, and then install the one of the components, and then I'm going to move over to the dash.
So again, it's very easy. You just have to give some effort to make sure that the panel comes off.
Okay, so I gotta agree, it took me a few minutes to figure this out, but then once it's off, this is how it's gonna look. And now I'm gonna connect the other piece to it. Okay, one very important thing that I forgot to do, and God thank that I just thought about it, you have to make sure your car is turned off completely. To do that, it's very simple. Press on here, go to safety, and then you can press power off. Are you sure you want to power off? And yes, we are. Alright, so I'm just gonna open this piece here. Okay, so this was not as easy as I thought it would be, so just be patient. There's a little clip here that you have to press, and then it just comes right off like this, which is what we need. Hold it straight. Okay, so now that this piece is off, next step is pretty simple. You got to make sure, if you're not handy, if you don't know much about electronics, just match it. It plugs in, just snap it in. It snaps in like this, and this piece will have to yeah, see, it looks like this piece is completely glued, so we gotta maneuver it a bit to get to where we need. And okay, so this is done. Now the only problem is you gotta make sure to put the panel back, but you need to have enough space for the panel to snap back on. So looks a bit crowded, but let's see how it comes out. Okay, so what I did is I'm just running the wire through here. I am running it along the way here, and I'm just gonna, I know it's not clear, but look, just gonna bring it all the way here and leave this right here for the time being. Okay, next up, I'm just gonna remove this panel and make sure my wire comes around, and then I'm gonna run it through this line. So let's get this guy out. Same thing, use the tool, you'll hear the snap. There you go, 1, 2, and then there's 3 of them. Again, not easy, but there you go. Now as you can see, this comes right off. Okay, so the next step is to slide this guy right along here at the panel. For now I'm just going to push it for a bit, and again it's very nice and smooth. And now I just have to make sure that the wire is hit. Okay, so again, take the time, push the wire all the way in, and just give it a push here to make sure that it comes off. Did you hear the snap? Okay, so now you just have to, in between the panel, run the wire all the way through. Okay, so now I ran it across. I pushed it as much as I can in here. Make sure the wires don't get kinked. Mine got kinked a bit, but it should be okay. The next step is very easy. Run it along here like I'm doing, which is not hard at all, right? Okay, so once you run the wire, for me it's not done. I'll go back to that later, but all you gotta do is snap this in here, and I'm gonna just use my carpet to hide it inside like this, right? And now let's go back and settle the wire on the other side. Okay, again, I'm not happy how this is exposed, but I managed to put it inside the carpet and slide the rest of the cable along the way. So not as clean, but it does the job. Okay, now before I do anything else, I just want to test and see if this thing works. Oh gosh, yes it does. I'm just gonna zoom it in, guys. You see, it just came online. So happy. I know there's still a little bit of wire that's exposed, you can see, which I need to fix. I will take care of that after. So now that I know it's working, I'm gonna go back and put the rest of the stuff together. Okay, so now I just have to snap this back in. Perfect. Okay, this was a bit challenging for me to line it up, but it's done. So one final show. See, again, a little bit of exposure. I can't do anything. I know some guys can run through here, but this is what I have. And just as long as you remember, when you clean, you gotta make sure that it's done correctly. Okay, so the last few steps that I have to do is make sure that the display is aligned. Right now it's not really, so good thing is I left a lot of space and cable, so I can really move it around. Now the only thing that I'm not quite happy with my work is, again, you can see the wire. I need to work a little bit to make sure that I send them out properly, but the job is done. Now let's just take it for a test drive and see how this thing aligns. Right now it's not really, so good thing is I left a lot of space and cable, so I can really move it around. Now the only thing that I'm not quite happy with my work is, again, you can see the wire. I need to work a little bit to make sure that I send them out properly, but the job is done. Now let's just take it for a test drive and see how this thing looks like. Okay, so the last few steps that I have to do is make sure that the display is aligns. Right now it's not really. So good thing is I left a lot of space and cable so I can really move it around. Now the only thing that I'm not quite happy with my work is, again, you can see the wire. I need to work a little bit to make sure that I send them out properly, but the job is done. Now let's just take it for a test drive and see how this thing looks like. Okay, so my wife called, so I can't really do anything. So right now I'm putting to drive, and turn signals. So again, everything is working perfectly fine. Quite happy with the small add-on, but it will make a big difference. So you don't have to constantly turn on and look at the screen. So